I'm gonna have to be honest. I don't like it. The cover arts alone look kind of weird. You're supposed to look at them together, and they're just alright. But the logo is, ugh! Why is it so simple? Why is it in Arial? That's the Microsoft default font. Everyone and their mom knows that Kiwami 3 is a thing, and this video isn't to recap everything in the trailers or the announcements. This video is just my thoughts as somebody who actually likes Yakuza 3, besides Laukalong. I wrote a video a while back about things I'd like to see in a hypothetical Kiwami 3, and even though I never made the video, the real Kiwami 3 ended up doing a lot of things that I wanted to see. Not that I am this authority that RGG needs to listen to and I decide on the standards. I'm just a guy that likes the game and wants it to be good. Anyway, the things I wanted to see are more story things and the return of the original Dragon style. And we basically got both of those things. I want to talk about the story stuff first. It was said that the story outline is still the same as the original Yakuza 3, but Kiwami 3 adds on a bunch of new stuff and changes the outcome of some scenes. That's one of the big reasons why I wanted a Kiwami 3. It can have more opportunities to flesh out the plot. The original story of the game is just a mess, with all of these characters trying to fight for screen time. The ghost of Kazuma, then you have Laukalong coming back for revenge, then you have Chapter 9 the plot, then you have all of the kids, then you have the Ryudo family. It's a huge mess, and some things are just way more interesting than the other things. I care way more about the orphanage stuff and Mine's gay relationship with Daigo than anything else in the story. It seems like Kiwami 3 is going to take the time to actually flesh out these plot lines, which is great. The side content with the orphanage is what I wanted to see too. This game is Kiryu's heart. He's most vulnerable, most emotional, and most open in this game. There are entire moments in the later games that depend on you having played Yakuza 3. By actually making Yakuza 3 into a dad simulator, you make these moments hit way harder and make this game feel more personal. I have nothing else to say because it just looks great. Like, yeah, that's what I wanted. Something that I can talk about in more detail is the graphics of the game. Well, not necessarily the graphics, but the look. The look of the game is kind of weird. For some reason, the color contrast is increased in the games that were made after Infinite Wealth. Infinite Wealth wasn't perfect visually. It had some parts that were really bright, but other than that, it was really well balanced. The Man Who Erased His Name has really strong color contrast. When you go to dark places, they're really dark. And then when you go to a light, it's like, oh my god, is this a street light or heaven? The same thing goes for Pirate Yakuza. The shadows are really dark and ugly. And then when you go to the beach, look at this scene between Kiryu and Akame. They are surrounded by lights, but they're shrouded in darkness. And it looks deep fried. Jarvis, decrease the color contrast for the Akame scene. Boom! You see how big of a difference that is? This seems to be the same look that they went with in Kiwami 3, and even though it doesn't really affect the cutscenes, it's in the gameplay, and it looks so weird! Look at Famitsu's footage. Sunlight is way too bright and dark parts are way too dark. It's deep fried! Jarvis, decrease the color contrast. The color filters of Kamurocho return. And I think that it's really funny that in the game that takes place between 2 and 3, Kamurocho is green like it is in Kiwami 2. I don't have much to say about the color filters, I think they are alright. Now for the thing that everyone and their mom is talking about. The big thing that is a big deal. I'm so happy that the original Dragon style returns, even if it's just parts of it. That's all I ever wanted. Changes to the story, more stuff to add on to Kiryu's heart, and the original Dragon style. I could not be happier. But I am cautiously optimistic about the combat of this game. The Man Who Erased His Name and Pirate Yakuza both have alright combat. They could be really good with a few tweaks, and that's the thing that I'm scared of for Kiwami 3. It's like they do just enough to make the combat feel good, but they also hold back just enough so that it isn't amazing. Like in The Man Who Erased His Name, you can't do finishing holds unless you're in extreme heat mode, and heat is like really annoying to build up in that game, because they want you to buy the real life brand of cigarettes. And also in that game, if you don't have any equipment, you're fucked. You're gonna take so much damage and do so little damage. Please just let us do some crazy shit, man. The websites say that this game will have the most acquirable techniques in the series, and that can mean one of two things. It either means that there's all these crazy abilities for you to unlock, or that there's 900 heat actions. Anyway, here are things about the dragon style that I've been able to figure out just from the trailer, and from some of the gameplay demos. The light attacks are from the dragon engine, but the finishing blows are from the original dragon style. Bounding throws are from the original dragon style, and I think that the quick-step strikes are also from the original dragon style. You can see that Kiryu uses his forward quick-step strike from the original games right here, but I'm unsure if this is just part of this new gameplay mechanic where you dodge out of the way and then do a heat action, or if this is actually his quick-step strike. If this forward quick-step strike is replaced, then that's kind of sad, because that means no more infinitely doing this. The charged light attacks are the same as Kiwami 2 and The Man Who Erased His Name, and the new Ryukyu fighting style looks really interesting. I just hope that it doesn't suck like another Yakuza fighting style. What scares me the most is this. Why is there only one? What year is this? 2005? They made this bar really big so that extreme heat mode can still last a long time. But when you do a regular heat action, the whole bar gets used up. So what's the point? Just keep it the same way that it was in Judgment, Lost Judgment, and The Man Who Erased His Name. Multiple bars, and every time you do a heat action, one bar gets used up. It was perfect. Now for the redesigns and the recasts. Recasts. It's hard to enunciate the T. I don't like them, but I don't hate them. They're just okay. Part of it is the miscastings, and part of it is the design of the characters. Nakahara is an old man who has more to him than meets the eye. He might be old and chubby, but that doesn't mean that he's weak. When I saw the actor go on stage, I thought, you know what, I don't like that the characters are being recast, but I can see this guy playing Nakahara. The problem is not the actor, the problem is the character design. RGG went out of their way to make Nakahara look young. He has a full head of hair and a full beard, and he's no longer chubby. He doesn't look like a sweet old man that has more to him than meets the eye. He looks like an old man that never stopped fighting. He looks like he just came out of the hyperbolic time chamber. He just looks very Hollywood, and this is a problem that applies to the other two characters that were recast. They look too clean. They look too normal. This is not a problem for every single likeness actor. Ebina is Ebina. I have no problem with how Ebina looks. The problem is that these actors are being put into roles of characters who were specifically designed to look a certain way to give off a certain vibe. By replacing the original design, you lose a part of the character. RGG did this before with Kiwami 2. Takashima is supposed to be a younger man who is hungry for power and will do anything for it. That's why he backstabs like 20 people. But then Kiwami 2 decides to cast an older man in the role, so now he just becomes another generic enemy. Not only do you lose part of the character, you also lose a character's charm. There's a difference between an art style of a game and the art style of real life. I know that sounds really dumb, but you know what I mean. Look at Shimano. Shimano looks unhinged and serious. You can't just recreate that really easily in real life. If you just cast another bald guy as Shimano, you lose part of the character. The exaggeration. Humans don't always have exaggeration in their features. That's why a character like Kanda exists. No one in real life looks like a human slug like Kanda. These recasts miss the point. They just look like people. There's nothing wrong with looking like people. The problem is that now normal people are replacing stylized characters. Again, imagine if Shimano was just another bald guy. Now let's look at the other characters. People are already emotionally attached to the old Rikiya, and the new Rikiya kind of misses the whole point of the character and changes the character's look way too much. He had a purposeful design. He was a punk that looked goofy and friendly. He also has curly hair, and that makes him stand out. Not many people in the series have curly hair. He also has a very bright shirt. By making Rikiya a likeness actor, you lose the purpose and exaggeration of his face. And then RGG takes it a step further and removes all of his uniqueness. Now he doesn't have curly hair, and his shirt is black instead of orange. He loses his identity and uniqueness just like Nakahara. Now they're just generic strong old man and generic young punk. The same exact thing happens to Hamazaki. He's supposed to have this unsettling, ugly, menacing, and intimidating face, but now he's just... Then RGG decides to redesign his clothes just like they did with Nakahara and Rikiya. Hamazaki used to wear a slightly unbuttoned suit with a chain. He was sleazy, and that was his sleazy outfit. Now he just wears a regular suit and tie. You could literally take this new Hamazaki and put him into the background of any Dragon Engine game and he would fit right in.
Kansai へ行くつもりだね。
5代目との約束です。姉さん、この一件、自分に任せてもらえませんか?
If you look at all of the character designs together, the thing that makes these new designs stand out is the fact that they don't stand out. They look so generic that they look out of place. This is no hate to any of the actors. They don't control how they look. They were just really miscast. Look at the other likeness actors that were given original characters. Nanba, Arakawa, Akame, Sawashiro. People like these characters because they are original. They aren't replacing the purposeful design of older characters. But imagine Bryan Cranston as Shimano. I think the best case scenario with this game is to keep the original faces and recast where you have to. Obviously they didn't go for that and they just decided to send it. But man, if they recast Hamazaki, that means they're really committed to the character. So does that mean they're working on Kiwami 4? Because there's no way you recast this character without considering that too. They're probably gonna have to recast him again anyway, because the actor is, well, there's no easy way to say this. He's a sexual harasser. While this happened in 2019, he was never actually charged for the crime, and then he issued an apology in 2022. Whether or not he's truly sorry, or whether or not he learned from this, I don't know. I'm not omniscient, and these topics are things that are way too complicated to look at if they happen in real life compared to the game series where all of these characters are fake. People are quick to forgive the game Hamazaki because the people he killed weren't real. It's a video game. But the things that the actor did in real life are real. Real people were affected by what he did, and you just can't change that. It's just kind of disgusting, and even weirder when you look at the fact that they completely recasted and changed Hamura because his actor did a crime. I thought that sexual assault and sexual harassment were really big deals in these games, but when an actor does it and it happens to a protagonist, it just gets brushed off, or it gets played as comedy. That shit is not funny, and get that guy out of here! This part was recorded after I found out about this stuff, so this might seem a little disconnected from everything else. I don't want to end this video on something negative, but this is really important. I'm gonna leave it to my past self to talk about Kiryu in a blue shirt now. Kiryu wears a blue shirt, and now he has 40-year-old dad sandals.
What are those?
I don't really like it, but I don't really hate it either. The main problem that I have is that it just isn't bright enough. Kiryu sticks out because everyone else is wearing this really bright clothing, and he's over here wearing a dark blue shirt. Jarvis, make his shirt bright blue. Is it just me, or do these original engine characters look kind of weird? It's like they came directly from Yakuza 3 instead of being remade in the Dragon Engine art style. That's why Kiryu's face changed, because it's different for each engine. But seriously, look at Tamashiro, Tamiya, and Mikio. These guys look like they came straight out of Yakuza 3. It looks so uncanny. It looks like RGG took these old models and just wrapped them to make them higher quality and then said, yep, we're done. It's not really a big deal because they did do it with the Majima guys in Pirate Yakuza. It's just a little nitpick. And uncanny. Look at Tamashiro! He looks like he's from a PS3 game. That's so distracting. He doesn't have the Dragon Engine realism on him. This makes the new Rikia even more distracting than he already is. You have a character that's based off a real person next to somebody who looks like they walked out of a PS3 game. By no means does this ruin the game. It's just really distracting. Also, why are all their faces so blank? Oh my god! They all look like they have Botox in them. Let Kiryu look mad, he's just blankly staring. Reusing the old animation data is just not gonna work, bro. Look at the difference between the bones in Yakuza 3 Kiryu and the bones in Infinite Wealth Kiryu. And yeah, that's all I have to talk about. I don't really have anything else to say. I think it looks pretty promising. Dark Ties, very cool, very awesome. It's a RGG online story that they're making canon now. So Ryuji fans, brace for impact. And I hope combat is good and not limited. And that's it. Bye.